that shouldn't have happened. That's my fault. Sorry. Oh, we got there in the end. I don't know what I was doing there with the pictures. Anyway, I'm Richard, and you're watching the Positive Arsenal podcast. Hi, I'm Richard Adrian. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, the Positive Arsenal channel. This is going to be the 7th edition of the Positive Arsenal podcast, and we're looking forward to Sunday's big game in the Premier League with Wolves, and also looking at a few other issues going on in the world of football at this moment in time. Of course, we played in the Europa League last night as well. The show is currently going out live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, so wherever you're watching it, please give it a like and nip over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to get involved in the show, please drop your comments in the box and any questions and stuff that you've got, and we can go through that as we go along. And I've got some guests joining me as well as we look forward to this game. So first of all, he's become a bit of a regular now actually on the show. Welcome back to Melvin.
Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to this. Some very good memories about times in Wolves and some not so good memories, but we'll come to that later.
Yeah, well, that's the same with every club, isn't it, I suppose? But yeah, I think your memories of Wolves go back a little bit further, which could be interesting later on as well. And coming back after a week, he had a week off actually for some reason, but our positivity guru is back in the house. Andrew, you okay?
Hello. How are you, mate? Sorry if you had a lack of viewing figures last week. I do apologise.
I know. Yeah, the massive negative effects on the ratings, but I'm sure this week we'll be fine. Andrew's back in the house, which is good. And also as well, we've got a very special guest joining us as well. He's from the other side, actually. His name's Luke, and he's a Wolves fan. How you doing, Luke? Welcome to the channel.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me on. You look okay?
Very, very good, mate. Looking forward to chatting to all you guys about what's been going on in the world of football. So that's the panel, and this is the Positive Arsenal podcast. Just before we start, I just really wanted to just pay a tribute to this guy, probably the greatest footballer I think I've ever seen play. Obviously, he did pass away. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, or the day before? So, just RIP to Diego Maradona, fantastic player. Yeah, so, he was brilliant, wasn't he? Basically, where I wanted to start this week actually is the fact that now we are allowed to have fans back in the stadiums, which will be the first time since March. And we're going to be one of the first, in fact, we are going to be the first club in England to have fans back in the stadium on Thursday night when we play Vienna in the Europa League. Now, I'm quite interested to know what you guys' thoughts are on this, because the capacity, the attendance, is going to be limited to 2,000 because of the restrictions and stuff, and London being in tier 2 and all this kind of stuff. So, for me personally, I can't see the point of going to football in a 60,000 seater stadium with 2,000 fans in, with no alcohol. You can't mix with your friends, you can't sing, you can't cheer, you can't do any of that. To me, it's a waste of time. I'd rather they wait until we can get it back to something similar to what it used to be like, and just have it as it's been, because to me, I can't get excited about going to a game in a pretty much empty stadium with you're not allowed to do anything other than politely clap when the teams come out and stuff like that. To me, that's not football. That's not what it's about for me. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. Maybe start with Luke then. I was obviously coming on the show today. What's it like for you guys at Wolves? Are you kind of wanting to get your fans back in even in those small numbers, or would you rather wait?
I think some fans they'll just go regardless. Like, they'd be happy to go back. Obviously, being in tier 3, we can't have 0 fans. But again, it's not. I can't see it impacting on form. I can't see it being an advantage having 2,000 fans in there. Do you think even with 2,000 Arsenal fans there, that the released attendance will still be 60,000?
Definitely, yeah.
Well spotted.
It definitely will be.
59,900. Come on, be realistic.
But I think, I suppose it's better than nothing. But this is another conversation for another podcast, I suppose. But the government haven't got a clue, have they? They don't know what they're doing, and just allowing 2,000 fans when you're rubbing shoulders with somebody in Asda or Tesco. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's laughable, to be fair, and it's quite embarrassing. But I suppose it's better than nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd rather have nothing because I just can't see the point of it. Football is taking away all the fun out of going to football. It's like the people that make these decisions, it's like they are so out of touch with what going to football means and what it's about and what it's always been about for fans. And to make it like that is, it can't even be about the money because there's no way the club can be making any money from having 2,000 fans when they've got to employ staff to open the gates and look after it all. So I don't know. To me, it's mad. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Melvin, about the 2,000 fans that we've got on Thursday?
I think first of all, you go to football for the atmosphere. There ain't going to be no atmosphere, but there are plus points. I can get a cup of tea at half time. Don't have to worry about queuing. I can get a drink if I want a beer. I don't have to worry about that. And I can hear myself. Well, I'm not allowed to shout. I've got to clap. It's like being at the bloody opera, isn't it? No, for me, it's a no-go. It's listen. We don't mind getting up, going on the train, doing this, doing that to get to the ground. All those hours, coming home again. If you get a bit of atmosphere and you're part of the game, you're not part of it. If you're not allowed to even cheer, I mean, that is ridiculous. And just going back to your point, Luke, we're not allowed to say you should be able to have 20, 30,000. You know, you're not allowed to be 6 feet from someone, but I can sit on the underground next to someone I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't sit next to my son 6 feet away. So it's all a nonsense. That's a bigger question, like you say. It's a bigger thing we could talk about and spend hours and get very aggravated. But it is a nonsense.
If they put a bit of thought into it, say for example, you've got the Emirates hold 60,000. Even if you went 15,000, so quarter of capacity, you could even give people staggered times to turn up at the ground, so you can minimise the risk of, well, you can maximise social distancing with the numbers that way. So, say for example, Richard, your allotted arrival time is 2 p.m. at the stadium. Melvin, yours is 2:15. Andrew, yours is 2:30. Mine's 2:45. Then you just eliminated it a little bit more, and you're getting more people in there. And even 15,000 in a 60,000 seater stadium. Again, you could probably just open two stands, so people can get a little bit closer together to generate some sort of atmosphere. So you know, but there's just no thought behind it. It's just like a number plucked out the air. Oh, 2,000, that'll please them. There you go.
You know why it won't work, your system? Because it takes common sense, and there's none of that around at the moment.
Nah, not at all.
That's very true. I mean, Andrew, what are you making of this 2,000 fan business? Do you think it's a good thing, or should we just wait until we can get a decent number in and carry on as it has been until then?
It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic, mate. And they are doing what you said, Luke. They are still going to be staggering entrance times. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous considering that you can have a much smaller stadium in London as well, and they will have the same amount of people in as the Emirates, regardless of what their capacity is. And if they think that it's just going to be those 2,000 people turning up, what a joke! I mean, everyone's going to be turning up there to have a drink in the pubs beforehand with their mates, and just have that atmosphere outside as well. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and it's either all or nothing as far as I'm concerned. Let them all back in or don't, and I think it should just wait until we can do that.
The thing is, as well, I mean, I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans are quite, excited and keen to get tickets for the game on Thursday. And in a way, you can understand it. We've not been able to go, have we, for months? And it's like, but for me, it's just going to be a total farce. 2,000 fans in that big stadium when you can't even if you could make a noise, you're not going to hear it. It's just going to echo around. And it's going to be worse probably than having no fans at all in some ways.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, it is what it is. They might see sense after the first few rounds of games. But yeah, go on.
I'll just tell you as well that about 5 minutes ago, Arsenal took the lead in against Derby County.
Oh, yeah, the under 23 game.
Just so you know.
Yeah, the under 23 game's been played as we speak against Derby. So there's a few sort of fringe first team players playing, like William Saliba and a couple of others. I think. Is it Aziz? Did you say was playing, Andrew?
Yeah, Pablo Mari's making his comeback. Callum Chambers and William Saliba back free. So that's not bad, is it?
No, it's
pretty better than what we've got at the moment.
So, it shows that we've got we've got some depth in the squad. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's not quite working out. But that's the next thing when it comes to it. So moving on to obviously what is now, I think, a big game, probably for both clubs actually on Sunday. So, Luke, is there anything in particular that we need to know about Wolves in terms of, stuff going on at the club, injuries and stuff like that, or you're going to keep it to yourself until Sunday?
There's not much going on. Cody was out. I think that was because of COVID-19. So I'm not sure if he's back in time or not yet. I've not really been reading the news too much the last couple of days in regards to Wolves. But no, injuries, we're fine at the moment. Johnny's a long-term injury, so he's not due back until probably February or March. But apart from that, I believe we're okay.
I mean, what have you made of your start to the season so far? I mean, it's a lot of draws, a bit like last season, really, but you don't lose often, do you? It's
frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing in the world because we're so bipolar. Like, one half will be absolutely dreadful, and the next half will be fantastic. And it's like, where's this performance come from? Because we actually do have quite a talented squad. We've got some dangerous players on the day: Neves, Moutinho, Patricio, Jimenez, Traore, Podence. Some very, very dangerous players in the squad. But I believe Nuno plays with the handbrake on, and it's holding us back massively. Absolutely.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Luke. This is only purely my own personal opinion. Do you think your squad was slightly weakened over the summer with Jota going and with Doherty going? Do you think that the two? Because, go on.
Jota's a funny one because for Wolves, his numbers wasn't actually that good. And he's gone to Liverpool and he can't stop scoring, but he's getting better services and he's getting more chances, so that'll be why. But we've replaced him with Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence. Both will get numbers equal to or greater than Jota last season in terms of goals and assists. So we're not going to lose out on that front. In regards to Doherty, happy to get 15 million for him and replace him with Semedo from Barcelona. Come on.
Really? I'm quite surprised at that.
We've had Tottenham's pants down there with that one.
I'm really surprised you say that. Yeah, I thought he was a really popular guy there and doing well.
No, Doherty, we got nearly 10 good years out of him. He got goals, he got assists, but defensively, he's not up to it. And if Tottenham are playing with a back four, he's going to struggle because he would have struggled if we played with a back four. Same with Conor Cody, absolutely fantastic. Put him in a back four, he's going to look like a different player and he'll struggle. And, we've signed Semedo. He played nearly 100 times for Barcelona. That doesn't happen by mistake. Would Matt Doherty play 100 times for Barcelona? No, he wouldn't. So it just shows the levels and who's the better player.
Yeah. I've got one for you, Luke. I've got one for you, sorry. Traore, does he not play because he's not playing well? Or does he not play well because he's not picked? Which way round is it? Because last couple of seasons, he's been different class. And he just seems to have fallen off the edge a little bit.
This is what I say when I refer to Nuno playing with the handbrake on. You got players like Traore, and me, obviously, I'm not as qualified as Nuno, but players like Traore, just let them play free, let them have a bit of freedom and
sounds familiar.
Get the ball and do what you need to do. Neto, we've got some fantastic players going forward, but because it feels like the handbrake's being applied. It holds them back. But then saying that, with Traore, he can be frustrating because he's too hit and miss. He's too hit and miss because if he was consistent, with all due respect, he'd probably be one of the best players in the world because he's so unique and he's unstoppable when he's on form. But when he's not on form, you might as well not be on the pitch. So it's finding that balance with him. Now, I don't know whether that's a Nuno problem or a Traore problem. I can't quite put my finger on that one.
It's funny enough. In my notes that I wrote for this, obviously we were going to talk about Nicolas Pepe. Obviously had a great game for Arsenal last night in the Europa League, and I actually find a lot of similarities between him and Traore. Not physically, obviously, because Traore is an absolute tank, but certainly in what you was mentioning about the inconsistency. And I think Pepe is either really, really good or he's really, really terrible. And it doesn't seem to be that balance. And I seem to get the impression that Traore is very similar. He's got a lot of similar attributes, I think, Pepe has to Traore, actually, in terms of pace. He's got the potential to be a fantastic player. I think they both have. And maybe they do both lack a little bit of consistency, which is maybe a shame because I think the pair of them together, two great players they can potentially be, but they're not living up to their expectations at this moment. I don't think either of them are. I mean, Traore had a good season last year, I thought. This year, he's not really got going yet, has he, for one reason or another?
Yeah, and the frustrating thing is, say, if Neto comes in for him or Podence comes in for him, they're not even particularly performing too well. So then you think, well, why aren't you giving him more minutes? Because I think his last 90 minutes for us was West Ham away when we lost 4-0, I think it was, which is right at the beginning of the season. And you think it's quite a long time to not give Traore 90 minutes when you know what he's capable of doing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, from our point of view, I say Nicolas Pepe, to me, I think they have got a lot of similarities. I know Andrew's a big fan of Nicolas Pepe. You must have been delighted last night, then, Andrew, with his performance. He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, it just shows you what you can do when you have a good player on a pitch and you let him do what, let him express himself. I was just saying before you came on, Luke, offline, it's exactly the same with regards to us as what you just said about playing with the handbrake on. We're not allowed to. We're just stifled. We're being micromanaged from the side of the pitch, and all the quality players that we've got up the front are just not allowed to express themselves at all. And it's absolutely, it's so annoying. It's excruciating to watch sometimes. Yeah, and that's what you get with Pepe. And he came out at half time yesterday, and he just seemed to be allowed to roam free and express himself and do, show us his flair. And he's like a different player. Absolutely, you can just see the quality that he's got. And I've been saying this the whole, all season and most of last season as well. And unless you get, this is the other thing as well with Traore in the same sort of situation. Unless you get a good run of games, you can't pick up your form and match fitness and get into that groove, get into your rhythm. And Pepe's not played this season at all. I mean, it's his first start, I think, against Leeds, wasn't it? And obviously that only lasted 50 minutes because he's so frustrated. And when you paid 72 million quid for a player, massively overpaid, we all know that. But when you come in as like a star player like that, and then in the summer after finishing the last season as one of ours, he was really picking up his form, and in the cup final, he was probably man of the match. But then when you get to the summer break, after really sort of starting to find your rhythm within the team, you get replaced in the team by a 32-year-old reject from Chelsea. What's that going to say to you?
Yeah.
As a person.
Yeah.
You're going to put your confidence right down into the gutter. And he hasn't started a game until the last one because of Willian. And Willian's been shockingly bad. Shocking.
Are you calling Willian a reject from Chelsea? He's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. Of course he is.
Absolutely fantastic. What a player.
But he's a good player. But at the moment, he's playing like a League Two journeyman. That's what it is. He's not doing anything at the moment.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's awful.
No, he's not, and it's a shame because I do think he's a good player. I do think he's got a lot of quality, but he hasn't quite managed to show it yet playing for Arsenal. But then that could be said of a lot of our players this season, if we're honest, particularly the attacking players. I mean, we seem to have, actually, listening to Luke there, it seems as though Luke's frustrations are very similar to the frustrations that we've all got watching Arsenal this season, which is weird because actually I've quite, certainly last season, I actually enjoyed watching Wolves play. I thought that, I agree that you maybe played in one half and not the other half generally. Second half was generally better for Wolves last season as well. But I actually enjoyed watching Wolves last season. I thought, you played good football, exciting to watch, scored goals, won some massive games as well against some of the top teams. And I actually enjoyed watching Wolves. So I'm quite surprised, actually, that you've sort of maybe feeling a little bit more frustrated this season. I can see by the results this year, they haven't quite hit the heights yet, Wolves, have they? Which I thought's a surprise because not having the Europa League, not having Europe at all, I thought might have benefited Wolves this year. Because last year, with all the games, it maybe caught up a little bit at some points, but still, it was a good season. And this year, maybe I thought Wolves would really push on and maybe challenge for the top four. But it's still early days and you're doing okay. You're not losing games, are you?
No.
But I was quite surprised when you said how frustrated you are because I like watching Wolves.
Well, it was exciting to watch, but we seem like a really difficult watch at the moment. Like, if I was a neutral, I couldn't watch a Wolves game at the moment because it just doesn't seem like there's no blood, there's no thunder, there's no, like the old school football, Arsenal v Man United, 2001, 2002 or something, those sort of games, King v Vieira, you don't get it no more. And I don't know.
We're the same, mate. We're the same. We hate watching ourselves at the moment as well.
Yeah,
it's absolutely a chore to watch Arsenal at the minute.
It's like players and coaches, and it seems like they're too scared to take risks nowadays.
I'll tell you something. This last couple of seasons, not this season, last season, the season before that, Wolves were one of the best teams we had down at the Emirates. They played as a team. They attacked as a team. They had a great tactic. They let us come on. Then all of a sudden they broke quickly as a team. People running in different directions. It was superb. And you should have beaten us, I think, both times actually.
I think that's what's missing, because defensively, we're actually we're doing okay. We're fine. We're quite solid. We always keep a good shape. We're always compact. Everybody knows their job. But going forward, we just look toothless at the minute. And I think 8 league goals in 9 league games says it all for me. We've been the same.
We've got 9, so it's going to be 0-0 on Sunday, quite clearly, isn't it?
It won't, because you haven't scored from open play for about 3 years. So guaranteed to score against Wolves. It happens all the time. All the time. Honestly, if you're ever on a jinx or a bad run, play Wolves.
Same as Arsenal.
That's what we say. It's what we say.
We do, yeah.
You might as well just. You might as well just be on our podcast every week, because it's the same thing, same problems. Honestly, it sounds like I know.
Yeah, it's crazy that, because it's exactly the same. Yeah, we feel exactly the same as about Arsenal.
With all due respect, I don't want to turn into Arsenal the way you've declined the last few years. You know, I want to try and break away from that.
I know.
Yeah, we're very frustrated. We are very frustrated.
I can imagine.
Well, we did win the FA Cup though, so I suppose it is swings and roundabouts, I guess. And some of the Everything Arsenal podcast. And good evening. Thanks for watching. Yes, I mean, Melvin, what did you make of last night then? The Europa League. Obviously, that was a good performance in the end, wasn't it?
It was a good performance. Yeah, first half was a bit frustrating. Second half, Pepe turned it on, but he can be the best player on the pitch and the worst player on the pitch within 30 seconds. That's the type of player. It's not like games he goes good in it, but I'm glad. I mean, I'm very, very glad he got those goals. And just after he scored, he seemed to have an extra spring in his step, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Once or twice, he had another chance. Just held on to it once, just a second too much. He'd have played someone else in. So, no, I'm very happy for him. I'm happy when the 2 kids came on at the end. Both got involved in the goal. I'm very happy with that. I don't think the centre forward Balogun hit it correctly myself, but who cares? It's great for confidence. It gives everyone a lift. And you can tell the team are very happy for him as well, the players. That makes you feel good. Defensively, they didn't really have a threat, the other team, did they? A goalkeeper, he kicked the ball more on the deck than he did with his hands, That's all he was doing, dribbling out, So it wasn't really a great test. I'm happy we won 3-0. I'm happy the guys that scored. I'm happy, Nelson as well. He's been a bit unlucky in the last few weeks. He should get a bit more time. I'd like to see him in the team this week, to be honest with you, with Pepe not playing. So all in all, last night, it was a win-win-win. But that was it, I'm afraid. That was, happy. Quite happy. It could have been a lot worse, put it that way.
There's a question for you there, Andrew. Balogun ahead of Eddie. What do we think about that?
That's a tough one, because what he was doing yesterday. It was yesterday. Lost track of days in for a minute. Eddie was. I mean, he wasn't on form, obviously.
No.
But what he showed was that he was always in the right position. And can you say that about our £45 million signing, Lacazette? When was the last time he was ever in a good position on the pitch? Eddie has got this knack of being in the right place at the right time, and I do rate him for that. I hate to sound like an old cliche, but that's something you can't teach. That he's got that naturally. So I think he's got a good. I mean, when you look at his goals per minute ratio when he's played for Arsenal, it's actually pretty good. But at the moment, I think it might be worthwhile playing Balogun, because he's massively on form at the time. He's chomping at the bit. He's really desperate to get in the team, and we desperately should re-sign him as well. And I think giving him a bit of run in the team would obviously help him, persuade him to stay more than anything as well. And I'm desperate for that, because he's not wanted by all the top clubs around Europe for no reason. He's wanted by Dortmund and loads of the teams over in the Bundesliga. So I would be tempted actually to actually start, give him a lot more minutes at the moment, and just Eddie can still carry on in the Europa League, because that's got 2 more games of that before Christmas. We've got the cup starting after Christmas. Well, I mean, it's going to be Eddie. Eddie's going to be able to get a few games. By the way, Derby had a penalty saved. We saved one of Derby's penalties as well, and Saliba just bombed on from our goal mouth all the way to the edge of their goal mouth. Dribbled the ball. So that's bloody brilliant to watch. Anyway, I digress. But yesterday's performance in the second half, especially, I was really encouraged by it, and because we had the handbrake off. we were swarming forward at one stage, and I was doing a watch along on Ryan's channel, and I was saying, look, watch what we're doing now. And we had all 4 midfielders bobbing forward, and Emile Smith-Rowe, every single time he got the opportunity, whether he touched the ball or not, he was making runs into the box, drawing defenders out the way, and creating havoc. And that's exactly what we need. And I said to Ryan on the watch along, if you were Mikel Arteta, why the hell wouldn't you do everything in your possibility to actually get Smith-Rowe ready for first team action, like in the Premier League, every game? Why wouldn't you be spending all your time and effort in doing that? Because he is exactly what we want, what we need. And he only had 15 minutes yesterday, and you could tell it straight away that he is what our team is missing.
Well, all I would say was, you're saying about the handbrake was off last night, and it was, but do you not feel that the handbrake was off because of the opposition? He won't take that risk.
It doesn't matter
because he's too scared.
It doesn't matter at all. Don't matter. It doesn't matter. Because people were saying,
that's his thinking, isn't it? He probably thought, it's Mulder, I can take a few risks, and he encouraged them to do so.
Well,
against Wolves, he won't do that. He hasn't done it in the Premier League yet, has he?
No, but what people were saying, it's just an example, that Pepe's goal was absolutely amazing, and it was a finish of pure quality. Doesn't matter when you're in that position what team you're up against, because he had like 3 or 4 players in between him and the goal. All he could hit was literally the top left of the goal, the opposite postage stamp, opposite side. And he was absolutely spot on with that finish. And that doesn't matter who you're playing against, because that's just world-class finish. And the same goes for mentality when you're on the pitch. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It's about what runs you're making. Are you available for a pass? You've got to actually do that. And in the Premier League, we're not doing that at all. We're not making ourselves available.
No,
we're not making those runs to actually get past
to express themselves. That's the point, isn't it? In the Premier League, they're not.
Exactly the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter we're playing mould. It's all about the mentality when you're on the pitch.
Yeah, but the point, just to play devil's advocate at the moment, Andrew, Pepe in a league game probably wouldn't be in that position, because he could have been 20 yards deeper against a very good Premiership. Difference.
Again, he's not allowed to do that anyway, though, is he, Melvin?
That's what we're saying. That's the old thing. Because it was a mould, the manager allowed them to do it, because there was no fear.
Yeah. Exactly.
People were slating Joe Willock against Leeds because we gave him his chance. He did bugger all. Right, Russ. He did bugger all, but no one was passing him the ball.
Because we don't
pass passing to him.
The issue for me is more that not the players. You could see last night when they're given freedom, they can play. It's more to do with the tactics and the style that they're being asked to play in the Premier League, which is stifling them, and they're not bringing out the best in a lot of them players. We've got a question here actually for Luke there. Can you keep hold of Jimenez? Well, if you want to get rid of him, we'll take him.
He's been off. He's been off form last couple of games. It's a shame we haven't got a backup striker, because I'd be looking at giving him a little rest.
I'll have him. We'll take him. We'll take him from on loan.
it's probably because we see him week in, week out. So every time you see Jimenez, you probably think, oh yeah, he gets 15, 20 goals for Wolves. He must be good. But like you were saying, your frustrations with Lacazette. Now I would take Lacazette over Jimenez all day.
Let's swap. We'll do a swap now. Let's organise it now. We'll do a swap.
I would do it. How old's Lacazette?
29, same as Jimenez.
Here's the pen. Here's the pen. Just sign it, please.
But
thing is with Lacazette is he is a really good penalty box striker, but at the moment he's playing like a deep number 8. This is the problem we've got.
When Jimenez is on fire, he is absolutely fantastic. But when he's off it, he's too deep. He's slow in possession. He's sloppy in possession. And you think there's no point you being on the pitch, to be fair, mate.
That's Lacazette.
But again, for us, is that a Nuno problem or a Jimenez problem? Is it the handbrake or is it the player? Can't quite work it out yet. Still, that's what we're still trying to work out. But I do think we'll keep hold of him because even though I've been extremely negative today, I still think we'll finish 6th or 7th. So I do think we'll keep hold of him. And he's signed a contract extension in the summer. So if somebody's going to take him, he's going to cost money because he's a goal scorer at the end of the day. So he's going to cost money. And if we could get 50, 60 mil for him, maybe, I'll take that all day for a 29-year-old striker.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also as well, Connor Cody's got to mention there. He's been playing well for Wolves, hasn't he?
Fantastic. Yeah, in his position, best in Europe, in his position. Move him out of his position, different story. But it's what he brings to the team as well, vocally. He's such a leader. His organisation skills, second to none. Like, in that position, I would take Cody out of any defender in Europe in that specific
How old
position.
is he, Luke?
He's only 26, 27, I think.
Wow.
26,
yeah,
27.
a lot of money for him.
The Liverpool Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he came, he got shoehorned in at right back. He played centre midfield for a bit. It wasn't until Nuno came that he found that position. And Nuno's made Cody, to be fair. So fair play to Nuno on that one. And fair play to Cody as well for obviously putting in the work on and off the pitch. Because you can tell with Cody how much he loves the game and just the way he speaks about the game. He'll be a manager in the future. You can spot it a mile off.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, Russ has put a point there about Jota. I mean, you did sort of mention that before. I know Luke, Russ has just got here, so you probably missed that. But you did sort of mention that you didn't feel it was that much of a loss, really, did you, to Wolves?
No, and it's funny to say because obviously he's doing the business at Liverpool at the moment. But like when you look at his numbers for us last season, Neto and Podence will match and exceed his numbers. Especially between them. So I don't see it as that much of a loss for us. It's a good deal. Majority of Wolves fans, we're happy with the money. It's, all right, Jota is doing the business and fair play to him. Congratulations. We hope he does well for them. But his replacements in Neto and Podence for us at our level, fantastic. Neto, 19 years old. I personally think he can be better than Jota. So we'll just have to see. And I think that's the way we're going to be. We'll get some players in on the cheap from Portugal. I'll have a couple of good seasons. We'll sell them on for profit. Rinse and repeat. That's just how we're going to be.
And if it keeps you where you are in the Premier League, I'm sure you won't mind that too much, will you?
Well, if it keeps us in the Premier League, we're just happy to be taking part still at the moment. But yeah, hopefully we can start to push on in the next couple of seasons and start to maybe ruffle some feathers in the Big Six.
I don't think you're far off, to be fair. At the moment, the last couple of seasons, you finished above us last season, and wouldn't be surprised if you do again this year. The way we've started, I know it's still early days, but we'll see what happens. I mean, just sort of moving away from the kind of present for the minute. I know Melvin's got some great stories about some previous games between the clubs. Yeah, so Melvin, maybe start with you on this one then, because I know
I've got so many to talk about. I'll talk just a few. The first Wolves game I went to at Highbury was a 5-4 game. We were 2-0 down, I believe. 1962, I went to that game. We were near the bottom of the division, and it was October, so it was a long way to go, but it wasn't looking good. And when we went 2-0 down, you just feel, I was a young kid, you could feel like the atmosphere, and then we actually won it. We won it 5-4. That's brilliant. I went in 19. When was it? When was it? For 1970 something. 76 was it? I think 76 we played you in the FA Cup. I went with my directors from work because a lot of my directors are Arsenal supporters. So we all met up, went to a pub, then we got on the coach, drinking. It was only I was about 22, 23, drinking. Got to they had a restaurant booked. We had something to eat, more drinks because these directors could drink. And anyway, I was gone. I didn't know where I was. We sat down and I could see, as we kicked off, 3 balls being kicked. I was seeing in treble, right? You beat us 3-0, right? You beat us 3-0. And I reckon the score was 9-0 on that basis because I was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. Home and the coach was horrible. We're out of the cup. I don't know where I am. I want to get home and I've had enough. And that was a bad one. But we also, there's the record that you'll know, Richard, I think Andrew might know. We played away in 2010 at Molineux and we won 2-0 and there was a record made that day. Do you know what it was? And it still stands.
I know in that game, I know we scored in the first minute and in the last minute.
Exactly.
Furthest distance, yeah, that's right.
So that's a record. That is a record. So that was good. Also, 1971, not the double year, because it was the next year on from the double. It was November. It was, I think, November 71. We went up to Molineux, got the opening goal. Everything was fantastic. I didn't go to this game. I just watched it. I watched it afterwards. He used to show it to you. Years ago, there weren't so many like games. Easy, 1-0 up, no problem at all. Got beat 5-1. It was the most horrendous weather you've ever seen. Every time Wolves kicked the ball, it went whoosh in the net. 5-1, slaughtered us. That was it. And also, I went to a 1978 at Highbury, the FA Cup. It was in the last minute of the game. It was 1-1. And George Berry, and I want to speak to Graham Ricks about that. And Graham Ricks had a bit of a melee because he wouldn't give him the ball to take a quick corner. Finished up, George Berry got sent off. And Ricks took the corner and we scored. I think McDonald scored to put us through to the next round. And also, we're going to talk about, I won't talk about it yet, players that played for both teams and something about that, but I'll leave that one alone. So that is some of my memories with Wolves. And brilliant.
Great memories there. Yeah. Great memories there. I mean, what about yourself, Luke? What are your sort of memories of games against Arsenal?
My first memory would be FA Cup semi-final, 96. I think it was at Villa Park.
98.
Obviously, major underdogs, absolutely buzzing. Could Wolves reach an FA Cup final? But Mark McGee was the manager, and he didn't play Steve Bull, and he didn't play Robbie Keane.
Wow! I don't remember that.
We lost 1-0. We lost 1-0, and what was most frustrating about the game was obviously Arsenal were far superior to what we was at the time. Fantastic players, but if we would have lost 1-0 to a goal from Ian Wright or Nicholas Anelka, you can accept it. But Christopher Wright scored the winning goal, and he was shit.
Yeah, Vieira gave him the ball, didn't he? Vieira went down.
Yeah, Vieira made the run, and he passed it to him. Yeah, that was a good day out, actually. Wolves had a lot of fans there that day, didn't they? That was.
Yeah. Good day. I mean, I was too young. Well, I wasn't too young to go, but I didn't go. I was 10 at the time, so I didn't go to that one. But to be fair, our record against Arsenal isn't too bad since we've come back into the Premier League.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
I remember when Mick McCarthy was your manager. I've got a memory that it's only a fuzzy one, but I seem to remember you beating us in the Premier League when you had Mick McCarthy as your manager. Am I being?
I know the game. It was around that era, and I remember Nenad Milias got sent off at the Emirates, and he never should have got sent off. And I think we might have drew the game 1-1.
Yeah, it was 1-1. Yeah,
we was hammering you, and then
might be the. I think that's the one I was thinking about. Then, yeah.
What year was that?
You were
2011, I think. 2010, 2011.
Yeah, we drew 2011 1-1.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think when Jimenez scored, we drew 1-1 with you last time, didn't we? I think the last two times at Highbury, the Emirates, it's been 1-1. But I'm certain from memory we deserve to win both games.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was the last one was virtually the end of Unai Emery. I think he left about 2 or 3 games after that.
Didn't we score a fluke goal? It was a cross that went in. Cross shot.
I can't remember your goal.
Mkhitaryan. Was it Mkhitaryan?
No, Aubameyang scored. Aubameyang scored last year. That might have been it was a year before you're thinking of. That was a year before Mkhitaryan scored a cross. Yeah. Right. But Wolves should have won that game. That was a late equaliser.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
That's right. Wolves was a much better team.
Yeah.
But look like scoring.
It's one of them. From a Wolves point of view, it's good that because when we used to be in the Premier League, obviously under Mick McCarthy and Dave Jones before that, you'd play teams like Arsenal away, and if you could just keep it 2-0, it would be a positive result. Just keep the goal difference down. But we're in a position now where we're playing teams like Arsenal and Tottenham and Chelsea and those sort of teams, and we're not scared to play them anymore. It feels really weird. It's bizarre because I'm used to just playing teams like that and thinking, well, if we can lose 2 or 3-0, absolute bonus. Just try and save the goal difference. But now it's like, okay, all right, we've got Arsenal away. We can get something from them. And it's not just Arsenal. Same with Tottenham, Chelsea. The only teams that we really fear is probably Liverpool and Man City.
Well, you won away. You did the double over Man City last season, didn't you?
Yeah. Funnily enough.
Well, I wouldn't mind. I was doing a double over Man City. Just beating them once would be nice, let alone beating them twice in the same season.
Against teams in the top 6, we've actually got a decent record. Yeah. It's when we play teams like Huddersfield, they did the double over us when they got relegated, and Watford will come and nick a point or something, and it's just those niggly, annoying ones that seem to do us.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, Andrew, what about your sort of memories against Wolves over the years?
Well, I was going to say our best result, not our best result, but one that gave me probably the most satisfaction under Mikel Arteta was the 2-0 away win against Wolves back end of last season. Yeah, because that is so long since we had a really good, competent away win against a really good team, that were above us at the time. Yeah. And it gave me so much confidence after all the crap we've been through, under Unai Emery and everything like that. So I was absolutely delighted with that, and it felt like a really big scalp because our away record the last few years has been horrendous. And up until like the first 2 or 3 games of this season, I was feeling exactly like you said, Luke, about not fearing to playing anyone anymore, because we'd made some really good had some really good wins at back end of last year under Arteta, and we started the season really well. Won the first 3 games, I believe. Yeah, we did, on 9 points after 3 games. And
no, we won the first 2. The third game was Liverpool, wasn't it?
That's right. There's 9 points after 4 games. 9 points after 4, wasn't it? Yeah. So, but it was a really good start. And even against Liverpool, I thought, we were quite unlucky that day because Lacazette was, off form. But I don't know. We just lost it all. It's just gone after the end of last season and the beginning of this season. That sort of no fear attitude that I built up, like the same as yourself. It's just diminishing week by week, unfortunately. So I don't know how we're going to get on. I've got a lot of confidence in Mikel Arteta as being a very, very good coach, though. I just hope that he can, find that bit of resolve, and just even get a performance like we had against Liverpool at the end of last season when we beat them. But we got spanked for probably about 80% possession to Liverpool. But we showed that we had resilience and we held on and a real backs to the wall win. I just hope that we can get something like that to hopefully kickstart us again. I thought that the away win to Man United might have done that, but it obviously didn't. So I just hope we can have another similar result on the weekend.
I mean, they're commenting about keeping hold of Nuno. That's quite amusing for me because about this time last year when we were getting towards the end of Emery, and Nuno was the first choice I wanted at Arsenal. Just the way that Wolves were playing at that point, I thought he was great football. I thought he'd have been a great fit for Arsenal, and I really, really wanted him. He was my first choice actually this time last year. But of course, he stayed at Wolves, and we've got Arteta, and it's what it is. And I'm not disappointed by that now. But at the time, I was so wanting Nuno to come to Arsenal. I just thought he would have been ideal for us at that particular time. But he's obviously doing. I mean, what do you feel about him? You seemed a little bit negative towards him actually earlier on, Luke.
I know. I'm getting pelters in some of the group chats, but I love Nuno. Absolutely fantastic. What he's done for this club, cannot deny how much of a great coach he is. I just think with Nuno, he's always a very defensive coach. And is that what we need at this moment in time? I'm not sure. Do you think that's
because he was a goalkeeper when he played? Do you think that might be why he's good at organising a defence?
I believe so. But if you look at his record at sort of Valencia and Porto, never a very attack-minded coach, very defence-orientated, loves a clean sheet, and that could that be his downfall in the Premier League? That's all I'm questioning. That's all I'm querying. Like, I love Nuno. He's done a fantastic job, but surely questions can still be asked no matter how good of a job you've done. Yeah, no, because there's always room for improvement, isn't there? Yeah. But some Wolves fans, honestly, they're just knobheads. You can't moan. You can't say this. Look where we was 5 years ago. But no, I want to question where the progression is now.
That's Wenger. Another parallel.
What's that? Sorry.
A bit like some Wenger. Another parallel. People are saying, people are having a go.
Well, it's the same with Arteta.
Arteta, there's a much smaller degree, I think, than Wenger.
I don't know. I think it's building.
He was split. Look what he's done, but look at him now. Where do you put the emphasis? So I think it is a parallel. I really do.
I'm just saying. Same with you, Phil, about Nuno. I feel the same about Arteta. I absolutely love him, and I want him to stay, for many years. But at the moment, I can't help myself from feeling that criticism because of the way we're playing.
Yeah,
it's boring and dull, and I want the flair to come back. That's all it is. I'm not criticising him as a coach and everything because it's his first job, but it doesn't mean that you're immune from criticism when your team is playing crap.
Totally agree. Totally agree. I'd love Nuno to spend the next 15 years here and win cups and qualify for Europa League, Champions League, whatever. Have a stadium or a stand named after him, a statue, the lot. But I still want to see some progression, and I want to see a bit more, like you said, a bit more entertainment and a bit more flair.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Hussein there says he thinks Wolves are coming for the 3 points because our home form is poor. He's right, our home form is poor. We haven't scored in our last 2 home games in the Premier League, so and Wolves are very tight defensively. But we'll come on to sort of score predictions and stuff later on. Just something here actually for you again, Luke. So I went to school with Matt Jarvis. I used to play football with him. Obviously, a big Wolves player. What were your thoughts on Jarvis at Wolves?
Jarvis was class for Wolves. Absolute brilliant. Like, he was a winger who you just loved to watch. He had one skill though. He'd cut back again, then whip it in. You knew what he was going to do every time, but it always worked. He was Jarvis on the left, Michael Kightly on the right. That was some of the best football that I've seen down Wolves that era. Absolutely fantastic. Java was quality player.
Good.
Did he go to West Ham? Was that the one that went to West Ham?
Yeah.
And Norwich.
Oh, Norwich, yeah, he did play for Norwich, yeah. And Russell's got an interesting stat there. Arsenal haven't scored from open play since the 4th of October in the Premier League, of course. Yeah, that's right, since Sheffield United game. That's a worrying.
We'll get a penalty against us anyway. It's fine. Everyone gets penalty against us.
We'll see. Just sort of moving on to the next kind of section here. I just wanted to look at a few players that's played for both clubs. I was struggling to find that many actually, so we'll maybe see if we can find a few now. The first one I wanted to do was one, especially for Melvin, because I know Melvin will know this guy. I don't remember.
I know this one, I bet.
But this one's for Melvin.
Oh, Bob McNabb. Lovely guy. Really good left back. Quality. We signed him from Huddersfield. They put his signature. When we signed him, it was on the loudspeaker. They did it, which is weird. Arsenal never do that. They go, ladies and gentlemen, we've just signed, or gentlemen, there's not a lot of ladies there years ago. We've just signed Bob McNabb from Huddersfield. It was really weird to hear that, but he came in the team and he was amazing footballer. Don't think he played for England much. He was in the 1970 World Cup squad, but didn't make the last cut. Went down from 28 to 22, and he got a great job on television. Though he was still playing with the Arsenal as a panelist. And everyone knew him from that. Yeah. So he came over very well. Good-looking guy, great left back. He could attack. He got stuck in. He was one of the best left backs we've ever had, I tell you.
And of course, he joined Wolves, didn't he? After he left Arsenal, didn't he? Towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you know much about him at Wolves then, Luke? What was his? What did he do? He did do much at Wolves. It's towards the end of his career.
I want to be honest.
Before your time.
Never heard of him. Sorry, guys.
No, it would have been a very probably been the
1970s. Round about that time, Huddersfield used to produce all the left backs. They had Wilson, who played for England in the World Cup. They had Bob McNabb, who had a geezer called Parkin, who played left back for you. He was a phenomenal left back, and one other I can't remember. But Parkin, who played for you for years, came from Huddersfield. He was wonderful, really, really good. You should know about him because he was one of the best.
Yeah, and there's a player maybe a little bit more recent that maybe Luke might remember playing for Wolves. I know he played for Wolves because I've got a picture of him in a Wolves kit. So there's the proof that he did. So we know that he definitely did. He's mentioned him as well in the comments.
He's a bit
what are your thoughts on Frimpong then, Luke?
He's a cult legend in Wolverhampton, Frimpong.
Yeah, but not football, probably.
He was just constantly injured, but he used to put in massive tackles, and we just loved him for that. Like we knew
he did one for you lot against Spurs. He did one for you lot against Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was hilarious.
Mashed someone. I don't even remember who it was, but I do remember the tackle. And he used to say, "What was he? Dench or something, Rory?" He had some catchphrase anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Some catchphrase, and we loved it. We loved him. He loved us. It was a shame he got injured, to be fair, because he seemed like a fun guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where did he go after that then, after Wolves? Where did he go? Do you know?
I think
he retired really young.
Ghana or something now, and he's put loads of weight on.
Is he? Oh.
I'm sure I saw him on Instagram about a year or two ago, and he was looking not too well. Say he was looking healthy. He was looking a bit swole.
Shame. He was a promising player.
He was. When he first came into the Arsenal team, I thought he was going to be a great player, and it never happened for him, did it?
I think he absolutely loved Arsenal.
I do think
he loved the club.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he took football seriously enough.
He played like he was in the playground with his mates.
Exactly.
Didn't he? Just brilliant.
He did. Yeah. As I say, it's a shame because I think he could have had a really good career. Maybe injuries, as we said, probably didn't help him. Maybe, and he sort of drifted out of the game, I suppose, isn't he? Really?
Is it Lethal Bizzle's cousin?
Yeah,
Lethal Bizzle's cousin, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Dench
he had nice hair as well,
brand.
He had good hair, so you got to give him that. He had decent hair. And another player who I actually really rated at Arsenal, but never quite made it as much as he could have done, and then ended up at Wolves for a bit. Ali Adair. Do you remember much
also
about
injuries, though? Big injuries.
Yeah. He never really did anything for us. I think he played a dozen games. That's off the top of my head, but I don't think he even scored for us. I think he was more remembered for having a fit missus at the time when he signed for us, because all our players were shit. They didn't have good-looking girlfriends, so he was a bit of a low-key celeb in the area, I think.
Low-key celeb.
I always felt he had a bit of potential, when he was at Arsenal. He'd seemed to come in and do some good. He scored some goals, and I always thought he could make a career, but it never really happened for him. He's another one, didn't really quite make it at Arsenal and drifted around. I think he's doing a lot of media now stuff, isn't he, on Arsenal? I think I've seen him pop up on the website and stuff like that, but I don't know what happened to his career, really, after Wolves.
He does the Arsenal Nation podcast with Johnny Cochran, who I had on my show last week.
Is that I know I've seen him on a bits and pieces. Yeah, I've seen him on there. So yeah, he seems to do that.
He's got. You say because he was always a good-looking bloke, but I think he's got better with age. I think he's like even though I'm obviously not the one to say. You should ask the ladies, but I think he's a really good-looking bloke now. I think he's got better looking with age. He has. Leadia.
Well, there's hope for me yet, Andrew.
You what?
Is there hope for me yet? Then going better with age.
Still time.
You don't need to improve, Melvin. You're incredibly handsome as it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can't improve on.
I can't believe you haven't mentioned one player though, Richard.
I've still got a few more to go yet. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I've got one there that again Luke might remember. I was trying to get ones that maybe Luke would remember as well, rather than just going back in time. Do you remember much about that guy?
Oh yeah, Falby. It's a shame with that one because it ended quite sour in the end. But
did it?
Yeah, he was fantastic. The fans loved him. He did really well for us, and it was one of them. Like we felt we had an actual player on our hands at the time. But then he got a bit above his station, wanted to leave, and then I think he just went a bit sour, and he's a bit of a snake, to be fair. But yeah, we move on.
Funny you should
He's
say
had
that.
a bit of tragedy in his life, hasn't he, recently?
You can
Had a bit of tragedy in his life
Yes.
recently.
Yeah, he did.
I will take that comment back to being a snake because he has been through a lot, to be fair, and obviously I wouldn't wish that on.
Yeah, of course. No. I'm not going to. I will just tell you, I'm a friend of the family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's best match with Matt Doherty as well, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he bought. You had a captain, you had a centre half that was leaving the club, and he was very friendly with the centre half as well. But I used to go in. He had a box at Wolves.
Yeah.
Phoebe, and we used to go with all the family, his family, and me and my son used to go and watch a couple of games. He used to invite us up to Wolverhampton, and you had a very good. Your forward line was amazing then because you had a Phoebe and you had two guys, a guy that went to Crystal Palace.
Sacco,
he was as well. I used to watch him play. I thought, wow, what a player this guy is! Absolutely, and you had another guy, like a short guy, Stumpy.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It was brilliant. It was a brilliant
Falby because if a Falby would have stayed at Wolves, I think he would have had a better career.
I agree.
I think for one reason or another, his head got turned, and I think that was a downfall of him. To be fair, then he went. To
there was a funny thing, wasn't there? Didn't he go to a team, sign for someone? Was it back to Wolves? He went to a team and he stayed a week.
Yeah.
And he stayed a week, and then he went somewhere else, didn't he? A week.
So that was that. I think that was
Stoke.
I think that was Wolves getting their arm back and saying, "All right, and come back. You know, you won a club, come back to us."
Yeah.
And then we see you later, mate.
Later, he's off.
Yeah, we made some right as well.
I used to, as I'm friendly with his father, I used to watch him play for Arsenal when he was 8 years old, right? And he played for the under-10s. Now when you're 8 years old, you play for the difference is enormous. Yeah. But he was one of the biggest, though he's not tall, not one of the tallest, but he was big for his age then. And he used to score goals for fun. They just used to give it to him. He used to run and smack it in the net, and you could tell straight away he had something. You weren't sure because you never are, but you thought if there's a chance of one kid out of that lot making it, and obviously my eyes was on him to know the old man, this kid could make it. And I don't think he got the chance. I'm not saying he would have been the greatest Arsenal for whatever, but he never got the chance, I don't think, to have a go at the Arsenal in the Arsenal first team. He never quite got elevated to that to just give him a couple of games to see what he's like. He never got the chance. And we weren't at that time. We didn't have the greatest forwards either. There was a couple, we were lacking a bit.
Fantastic.
So that's me being biased.
We loved it when we had a Falby. To be fair, he was absolutely fantastic.
What's the song you used to sing? Was it What's the thing you sing? The song where the teams come out to. What is it? The whole crowd go mad.
High Silver Lining, that one.
That's it. That used to be brilliant. Yeah. That was absolutely brilliant. One of the games I went to, he scored twice at home. That was good. Everyone was going mad, weren't they? In the box, he scored 2. I think he won 3-1 or something. Terrific. Terrific days.
Good goal scorer. Good goal scorer.
Just very quickly, me and my son went up there. We went up to we said, give our name, and the guy goes to my son, you can't come in. The commissioner goes, what do you mean? You're not wearing shoes, you're wearing trainers. We've come all the way from London. No one told us. So the guy told us, the commissioner told us, up the road, there's a store, I can't remember the name, it was Debenhams or whatever it was. He goes, go and get a pair of shoes, and then after the game, take them back so they don't fit. And that's what we've done. Brilliant. But he could have let us in, God. You know what I mean? He's telling us all this information.
Yeah.
That's terrible, but what a story that is. Melvin's got some great stories. And this is probably my favourite ever Arsenal player that also played for Wolves. This guy. What a legend.
Yeah.
Alan Sunderland.
Terrific.
What a fantastic player. Again, probably a little bit before Luke's time, I think, because he played for Wolves before he played for Arsenal, and he played for Arsenal a long time ago.
Did he score a cup final goal for you?
Yeah, the FA Cup final winner,
one of the most famous.
Yeah.
The 5-minute final.
Yeah. I remember that.
But also, Luke, he scored against you in the semi-final at Villa Park. Do you remember that? He got the second goal.
Yeah.
That's good.
He was a good player. He never played for England, did he?
I think he played for England B, didn't he? I think he played twice.
But not a full England cap.
No, he didn't know.
I thought he was a bit unlucky there. I thought he was very, very good forward.
He was a good player. He was obviously with the first Arsenal game I ever watched. He was playing up front. It was him and Raphael Mead actually up front. The first game I ever saw Arsenal play. So I've got great memories of Alan Sunderland. He was, probably our most experienced player, top scorer at the time when I first started going. So I've got great memories of him. And I know he actually had a decent career at Wolves before. I think he won the League Cup with Wolves, actually.
That's right.
About 74, 75 before he came to Arsenal. So he had a fairly decent career at Wolves as well. So very good player, actually, Alan Sunderland. One of my favourite, definitely my favourite ever ex-Wolves player that played for Arsenal, I think. I don't know. Is there anyone else that you can think of, anybody else that played for both clubs? Yeah, go on, Melvin.
It's not, I'm cheating, all right? I admit I'm cheating. It's not someone who's played for both clubs, but someone had our history and their history, the biggest history to do with Wolves, the biggest guy, and has a lot to do with us, Billy Wright.
What's Billy Wright's link to Arsenal?
He was a manager.
Oh, was he?
He was manager for 4 years.
Fair play.
4 bad years.
Really? Was he a bad manager?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Yes, we weren't successful under him, but a lot of the players he was the guy, they say, that got our academy going. And when we won the double in 71, we had about 8 or 9 players that he brought through from the academy. Your Peter Storys, Peter Simpsons, Charlie George, John Radford. I can name them. There's about 8 or 9 that played. It was in the 14 or whatever it was, man squad in 71. That because of him, he started the academy, we wouldn't have had those players. He really put his heart and soul into it. And so, all right, we didn't do well. That was the way it was there. But thank God for him. What we did years later.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually. I know he had. Obviously, the team wasn't successful at all in his 4 years.
No,
I know we mentioned it last week, Melvin, when you said about the crowd of 4,000. That was one of the last games that Billy Wright was managing, wasn't it?
That's right.
Against Leeds, when it was that lowest ever crowd. And I think that summed up where Arsenal were at that time on the pitch. But like you said, if he's put that work into the academy, which is, it's brought us great success since then, hasn't it? Every single successful team we've had has had someone out of our academy play for it, I think, pretty much throughout history since then. So I didn't realise he had so much to do with that. So brilliant for him then. He's just a shame he wasn't so good as a manager, but a great, obviously, player, wasn't he, for Wolves in England?
Yeah.
He was the first England player to get 100 caps, wasn't he, I think?
Yeah.
And he's still got the record, I think, of playing the most times consecutively for England as well.
Yeah, I think he has, yeah. Yeah,
and I think he might have most caps as captain as well.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. We saw his statue outside the stadium.
Yeah, he's got a stand named after him as well. He's a legend at Wolves.
He is a legend. So
pretty fantastic. Yeah. But just a little bit before my time.
Before my time, actually. I know Melvin's about the only one who can remember him.
Don't ask what I did yesterday, boys. I can't remember what I did yesterday.
I can't either. No. So, is there anyone else that we can think of who played for both clubs? Because I'm struggling, I must admit, other than what we've mentioned already. I can't think of anybody else. Can you think of anyone, Andrew, that's played for Wolves as well as Arsenal?
No, I've been racking my brains. Robbie Keane didn't actually play for us, which is really weird because he played for everyone else. But no, I can't think of anyone. No.
The only other one I know, Bob Wilson played 2 reserve games in goal for Wolves, I think, and then he joined Arsenal. So he didn't make the first team. So I don't know whether that counts, but I didn't want to include him for that reason, really.
And he was an amateur then, wasn't he? He was amateur.
Yeah, he was an amateur. Yeah, he played for Wolves reserves a couple of games in the reserves before he came to Arsenal. But that might be, yeah. I think going back in time, Bryn Jones in the 30s was Arsenal's record signing in 1938, and he came from Wolves.
I didn't see that. I didn't see him.
Even Melvin don't remember him. That's
no.
Did you? You gave up your season ticket around then for a few years, didn't you, Melvin?
Yeah, must have been, yeah. But yeah, so he was probably another one, but that's a bit before that time, definitely. So yeah. But anyway, so moving sort of more up to date, really. Then, what are we thinking about the lineups for Sunday? If we start with you, then, Luke, what do you think the Wolves team's going to be in terms of lineup on Sunday?
Well, the Wolves teams usually the same week in, week out, same formation, same shape. But Nuno threw an absolute curveball against Southampton and went for, it was like a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 type formation, which we've never seen before. And so I don't know. Is he going to go 5 at the back, 4 at the back? Now, but I think if Cody's back, he will go back to the back 5 with the wing backs.
Are they in cahoots? That our managers are in cahoots.
I think
because it was our last game Arteta went to a 4-2-3-1.
It's come from nowhere.
We've been playing back 3 for ages, and
yeah.
Are they? I wonder if they're talking to each other, like sharing ideas.
Probably.
How not to score goals? That must be what they're doing. How do we not
How weird,
goals?
Isn't it? How weird. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all right. So I've literally got no. I think to be fair, I think we'll go back to the 5-3-2, or the 5-4-1, however you want to term it. 3-5-2. It's all a hybrid of a hybrid now, isn't it? So Cody, Bolly, Kilman. I think Ait Nouri will keep his place. Semedo, Neves, and either Dendoncker or Moutinho. And then I would go personally Neto, Jimenez, and Traore. That would be my favoured front 3. But I think he'll go Neto, Podence, Jimenez.
Well, yeah. I mean, Podence does seem to be playing a bit lately. I mean, I've not watched as much of Wolves this season, actually, as last season. I tried to watch as many games as I could last year, Wolves, because I enjoyed watching them. But this year, I think I've seen one game and they got beat 4-0 off West Ham. So I thought, well, obviously they're not doing as well. But I mean, I think overall, looking at the results, that probably wasn't the best game that that I could have seen. But yeah, I mean, I'm like you said, I kind of expect Wolves to be how they've been the last 2 seasons when they've come to the Emirates. They've, like you said, they've set up the same way, they've played the same way, and were quite unfortunate not to win both games, and it ended up a draw. So yeah, that's not far off what I'd have expected Wolves to be. I would be surprised if Traore doesn't play, because I think against us he'll have a field day personally. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, Melvin, what do you think? How do you think Arsenal will line up? Because at this moment in time, I haven't got a clue what we're going to do. It seems to be one formation every game at the minute.
I mean, if we've got a couple of injuries back, I think Leno, Bellerin, Tierney, Holding, Gabriel. In midfield, if Partey's back, I don't know. I'll have him with Ceballos, and then I'll have White, Saka, and I hopefully play Saka and Nelson. But I think he might hopefully play 2 up front, Aubameyang and Eddie in the middle.
You think Eddie?
Then, again, I think that's what I would like to see. I think he'll probably play William instead up front and play him wide instead of the two up front. That's what I think is going to happen. But I'd love to see him play 2 wide like that, Nelson and Saka with Eddie and Aubameyang in the middle in the box.
That's far too adventurous for a.
Well, we're playing at home though. We've got to have a go. I think that is probably what I'd like, but I think he will play William instead of.
I'll be surprised if we take too many risks against a team like Wolves who play on a counter attack. I can't see him taking too many risks, because if he'll be worried, won't he, that if we lose the ball, Wolves are going to be dangerous on the counter attack, which they have been every other time that we've played against them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, what about yourself, Andrew? How do you think we'll line up? Because the formation at the moment, we're just stopping and changing every game, aren't we?
I think he'll stick to the same lineup and formation as Leeds, apart from obviously Pepe, who can't play. I don't think that. I don't know whether Partey's going to be ready. He thinks he's ready, according to what you hear. But the club haven't put him into full training yet, which is a bit weird. But we have been away, so I don't know. I just hope he would play. But if not, I think it'd be exactly the same as Leeds. But Nelson probably will come in instead of Pepe.
Do you not think Saka will start? Do you not think Saka will start if he's fit?
I don't know, because he had that knock, didn't he, as well, yesterday. So he might come on as a sub again. I don't think he'll start. As much as I would love him to, I would love to have a front 3 of Saka, Aubameyang and Nelson.
Yeah.
A bit more dynamic than what we had, but I don't think he probably will. I think he will urge on the side of caution bring Saka on maybe if he's available.
Yeah, Traore v Bellerin could be fun. Actually, that's a quite a interesting matchup if Traore plays. Although he'd be more the other side.
He plays on the right, doesn't he?
He'd be more the other side. Yeah, he'd be more.
Yeah, be on the
right. And then worried about Tierney. He played a lot of football recently. Yeah, he has, but keep playing. Like I see Willock start. Yeah, I see Willock didn't play that well last week against Leeds. That's the only thing. And he played last night.
You can't abandon it after just one match, though. You've got to give him another chance.
No, but he played against Leeds, and he played Thursday night, didn't he? Last night, and he's going to have to play again. I think that's a lot of games in 1 week. 3 games.
No, he's 20 years old, mate. I played for 12 hours a day when I was that age, down the park.
I'm still playing for 12 hours now.
No, honestly, he hasn't got a lot of football in his legs, has he? I think he'll be fine.
No, he hasn't, which is maybe why he's not ready to play 3 games in a week. Perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. I hope we don't change the formation again, because I thought the formation against Leeds is the right formation for us. It didn't really work in that game, but we need to stick to it. Obviously, Pepe being out, maybe give Nelson a chance if Willian's not fit. I want to see Saka playing. I mean, what about yourself, Luke? What do you think of Saka? Watching him play, obviously, for England as well.
I like him. I think he's a good player. Bit of a utility man, can play in more than one position.
Yeah.
When he's on the ball, he looks like he wants to make things happen. He's forward-facing, direct, works hard as well. Well, he seems like he works hard from my point of view. I think he's a decent player. I don't think he's been called up to England by mistake. I think he's deserved it on form over the last 9-12 months.
Yeah, no, he has. He's been brilliant, actually. He's got a great attitude for such a young lad as well. He's very mature. The way that he approaches the game, his attitude to life seems to be very mature as well. And I think with that in mind, that's what you need to make a really good career. And I think some other young players, they get thrust into the first team. They're really good players, but maybe their attitude is not quite right. And that's why they maybe don't make it. Maybe Ben Akafobi maybe was an example of that we spoke about before, possibly, and some others as well. But I think Saka's got his head screwed on, and I think that's important, and I think he's going to have a great career. Actually, Russ has been on Google again because he's found another player that played for Arsenal.
Oh, yeah. The horse. The horse.
Yeah. That's a good shout, that Russ, actually. I've forgotten about him. But yeah, he wasn't very good for Arsenal. But
I loved him.
Did he play a lot for Wolves?
I loved him at Arsenal, I did. I really did.
A few games our first season in the Premier League, but we can move on from Lugano.
Yeah, no, I kind of think that as well, actually. I didn't really think
I really liked him.
The way he ran was quite amusing, actually, I thought.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He galloped.
He was. Yeah, he did gallop. Yeah, he wasn't the greatest player, though, was he? Unfortunately, but
we signed him on the basis of the European Cup, wasn't it? He played against us.
Yeah, he played
amazing games.
That's right.
And that's why Wenger signed him.
Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah.
There was a few of them.
He's twin.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Yeah, he wasn't great, was he? But anyway, so we kind of know what the lineup's going to be now. So I suppose the only other thing to look at is. Obviously, it's going to be 0-0 because Wolves don't score goals, Arsenal don't score goals. They're both defensive and boring teams, so I think it's obviously going to be 0-0. But what do we think, Melvin? What do you think the score might be on Sunday? Let's be optimistic and not be 0-0.
I'm going to be optimistic here, otherwise I'll start crying. And I think we'll win 2-0. Aubameyang to score twice because he can't hit the net at the moment.
Well, he's due a goal, isn't he? He's due a goal in open play in the Premier League, not since the first day of the season. I mean, who would have thought that? We're nearly in December. Aubameyang's not scored in open play in the Premier League since, the first game in September. That's just unbelievable, that, isn't it? So he is due a goal, but is he going to score? I don't know. I mean, but 2-0 would be good. I'll take that all day long. What do you think, Andy? What's your kind of thought for the score for Sunday?
I mean, out of utter stupidity, I'll just say 1-0 to the Arsenal, but I would be happy with a draw, if I'm honest. I'm not confident. I wish I was. I normally am, you know me, but I would say there's a possibility that we could get a scrappy 1-0. But I don't think either of us are playing very well at the minute. So, yeah, just try and hold out for a scrappy 1-0.
Well, yeah, I mean, a win.
I'll be over the moon at the moment, to be honest.
We need
to get 3 points.
We desperately need a win, especially at home, because our home form's been dire. What are you thinking then, Luke? What's your kind of prediction? Obviously, you've watched a lot more Wolves than we have this season, so you'll probably more knowing how well they've been playing or not at the moment. The results haven't been bad, have they? Let's be honest.
Nah, it's a game that could probably be decided on the flip of a coin. I don't think there's going to be too much in it. So on the basis of everything that's happened recently, I'm going to go Arsenal tier 2, Wolves tier 3.
Oh,
interesting. Someone's kind of agreeing with it. He's saying it's going to be 3.
We ain't going to score 2 goals. No chance.
We ain't going to score 3.
Well, that'd be weird, wouldn't it? Because we've been spending all night saying how negative both teams are. We can't score goals, and you've just gone for a 3-2.
I know, yeah. I know.
Shows how much
we're all thinking 0-0. It's going to be 0-0 now. You've convinced us it's going to be 0-0, and then you go and throw a 3-2 in. It's like,
I'm in your heads. That's why.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm not being funny, right? This under-23 team I'm watching now, we should just get them to play because they're playing brilliantly. Derby are top of this league, and we're beating them 3-1. And that Moller, the young kid, the big tall centre forward, scored such a good goal, really good finish. And then our left winger, Taylor Hart, curled one in from outside the box, top postage stamp. But really exciting players. So I think we just put those out against Wolves, and we'll do a lot better.
They'll be tired though, won't they? They play tonight.
Nah, they're only kids. What's wrong with you? I mean, get knackered walking down the road or something, Rich. I mean, come on. They can play 2 games in 3 days. Seriously.
I don't know at that level. Here you go. Muller's the next Zlatan, apparently. There you go.
That's what they said, yeah. It was. He went to the academy of one of the Italian clubs. I can't think who it was now. And the people who were working with him in the academy over there said that he reminded them, because he's obviously Swedish, he's 6'4", but he's got a load of skill as well. Really, really talented. So they said he could be the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic because he's obviously from Sweden.
Wow, that'd be good.
Well,
And Russ said that obviously on Luke's score there, he said Arsenal aren't getting 2 penalties. So
that's
it
right,
won't be 3-2.
When Wolves are in town, anything can happen with that VAR, trust me.
Well, I don't know, we'll see.
Same with us. We don't get anything. We get no decisions at all, mate. Honestly,
we've not had a penalty all season. It's ridiculous.
I don't think we have we? Oh yeah, we have. One.
Man United, didn't you?
Yeah, we've had one. Yeah, I think didn't we get one in the Europa League as well, or not? Am I making that up?
I don't think so.
No, maybe not then. But so, yeah, the Everything Arsenal podcast, they 1-0 Arsenal with Aubameyang. I'll take that all day long. I've got to be honest with you. My prediction's a draw. I really do think it's going to be a draw. I think the 2 teams will cancel each other out, actually. I think it'll probably be 1-1 again. It needs to be 1-1 every season, so why not 1-1 again? That's what I'm going for, just because it seems to be the popular result when we play you guys. So I think 1-1. If we can sneak it 1-0 or 2-1, I'll be over the moon, to be honest with you. But I'm not, like Andrew said, I'm not confident particularly the way that we've been playing. I'm worried that we may even lose, but I don't want to say we're going to lose.
No.
But I mean, I would take a draw, I think, really, but I don't know. It's going to be a very, very difficult game. I don't know whether this stuff in Norway, because we had to spend an extra night over there because of the fog in London last night, and I don't know whether that might help us or hinder us, actually, because at least the players would have got a full night's sleep after the game, when normally they've been travelling back. So I don't know whether they might be a bit more rested ahead of Sunday, or whether or not it's just going to completely throw their routines out and they'll be all over the place. I don't know.
It's not the same 11 though, Richard. It won't be the same 11 players, will it?
There was a lot of them that'll be in the squad.
Is that fistful of straws you're clutching there, Rich?
Well, mate, getting me excuses in earlier if we lose. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of it all, to be honest. At the minute, it's I don't know. I'm going to say 1-1 just because I don't think we've ever had the same scoreline 4 times in a row against the same team. So at home in 4 consecutive occasions that we played them. So that might set a new record if it is 1-1. I don't know if that is actually true, but it might be. I can't think of happening before. So I'm going to go for that just because it'll be a unique kind of result, really. So, but yeah, I mean, fantastic. I mean, anything else that anybody wants to speak about before we finish? Yeah, go on, Melvin.
Tottenham are going to lose 6-0.
No,
but they're playing Chelsea. We don't want them to lose 6-0 with Chelsea, do we?
No, they will though. They're Spurs, aren't they? So
I want Spurs to lose whoever they play. I think
I've got to say that every. You know, I've got to say that every week, Richard.
Well, no, that's true. Yeah,
he hasn't done well this year, has it? They're top of the league on there. No, my memory of Wolves, my early memory, why they're a special club to me, is when I was growing up about 8 or 9. You used to get these comics. You used to get a cardboard cutout. Used to put all the. all the tabs and where they are in the league, right? You know.
I used to have them. Yeah, I remember them.
Well, Wolves was very special to me. Obviously, Arsenal and also Blackpool, because they're the only 2 teams had really strange descriptions of their kit. Wolves was old gold and black.
Old gold.
Yeah. Old gold, that was weird. And Blackpool was tangerine. Another weird. You don't get that in any other clubs in the world. So that was very special for me. And also, I remember one of the standout players, you could see him from wherever you are, was Ron Flowers, this tall centre half who played loads of times for Wolves, their captain, big blonde guy. And he was like, had an aura about him, you know? And he was a bit. So those are the early days why Wolves impressed me as a club. Silly little things, but there we are.
No, I didn't have no toys. I just had a rock I played with. I played with a rock. So I did.
I mean, talking about actually sort of early memories of Wolves, one of my first ever trip to Molineux actually was Charlie Nicholas's second ever game for Arsenal. He scored his first goal for Arsenal against Wolves. We won 2-1 on a bank holiday Monday it was. I think I was about 14, 15 or something like that at the time. And that's the first time I've been to Wolves actually. Very different ground back then, the big terrace behind the goal and all that kind of stuff. You know, it was good that. But yeah, Charlie Nicholas scored. He scored 2 goals that day actually, and then he didn't score for about 6 months after that. And
was that his second game for us?
Yeah, second game. Yeah,
I've got a story about that, but I can't do it over here. I'll do it privately. I'll tell you a little story about that game with Charlie Nicholas. Not nasty or nothing, but there's a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's my first ever trip to Wolves. Probably, I think that's the first time I've maybe even seen Arsenal ever play Wolves, actually, because they've been relegated a couple of seasons before. Actually, before you go, I wanted to actually talk to you about Steve Bull, actually, because he was a guy when he was a player and half, and he's Steve Bull.
Yeah, got some goals. Just a prolific goal scorer, just born to score goals. And to be fair, if there was no Steve Bull, there'd probably be no Wolves now. So
yeah,
because we would have gone out of business.
Yeah,
without his goals.
Yeah, didn't he get 50 goals 2 seasons running or something, didn't he?
Yeah, something like 54 and 51 or something like that in consecutive seasons.
That's just
did he play for England when he was in the lower division for Wolves?
Yeah. He got 13 caps. 13 caps, 4 goals.
Didn't he go to the 1990 World Cup in the squad instead of Alan Smith?
He did. And apparently, him and Gary Lineker hate each other.
Really?
Yeah. We all know Gary Lineker's a little bitch, so that's probably it.
No, that's fair enough. Like, I'm not arguing with that. Definitely not.
One other thing about Wolves that I like,
they
got one of the most famous supporters in the world. Who's the most famous supporter of Wolves?
Robert Plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Robert Plant.
And Jimmy Page, both of them. Jimmy Page as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but Robert Plant. I mean, Robert Plant. I mean, come on, fantastic.
I absolutely. It's one of my favourite kits this season as well. The new kit that you've got, I love it. It's beautiful.
See, I've always had a soft spot for Arsenal because I had a cousin who I grew up with and he supported. He was an Arsenal fan. I was always sort of my second team, but with all due respect, I kind of get embarrassed if somebody says, "Oh, who's another team you look out for? Who's your second team?" Like Arsenal at the minute. Because you used to be dominant, didn't you? Like with Henry, Bergkamp, Ian Wright, Petit, Dixon.
It will be again under Arteta.
Fantastic.
Give it a season or two. Back.
Let's hope so, because it's been long overdue, actually.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. It
has.
But I mean, you know, we're in the process, I suppose, of rebuilding, and you know, I suppose we will come back at some point. But at the moment, it's like, you know, Wolves have overtaken us the last 2 seasons. There's no doubt in my mind that Wolves have overtaken us with some good signings. Obviously, a good manager as well, and some great signings actually. A really good team, and I've always a bit like Melbourne. I think I've had a little bit of a soft spot for Wolves just because such a historic club as well. I used to go there a lot in the 80s and stuff when I used to play Arsenal, and I don't know. I just always had. They always struck me as being a really big club that had a lot of problems, and I always I don't like to see that really because the traditional clubs. I mean, weren't Wolves one of the original Football League clubs? Weren't they?
One of the founder clubs.
Yeah, and I think all those clubs to me are massively important in English football. And they deserve to be at a higher level. A lot of them have had a lot of struggles, haven't they, in recent years? And I know Wolves have been through the mire and stuff like that. And I never like to see that really for clubs like that because it's like the traditional clubs in English football are so important, and it's almost like people forget about them if they're not in the Premier League. If you're not in the 2 years, you get forgotten about, don't you?
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there's a lot of big important clubs in English football history that at the moment are having bad times, aren't they? And
yeah.
Nottingham Forest, twice European Cup winners, can't get out of the Championship. They've been there for years, haven't they? And that's just one example. I mean, Aston Villa have only just come back into the Premier League. Leeds, yeah.
Even Ipswich, Sunderland, all sort of clubs.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? I mean, I know everything comes in cycles, but these days, maybe if you come out of the Premier League, I mean, as you guys know, it's not easy to come straight back, is it? It can take
hard. It is hard. It's harder than it looks. It is harder than it looks.
I think the Championship's probably the toughest league actually that there is.
It's just such a slog, isn't it? 46 games, and you go into places like Barnsley on a Tuesday night, and it's not nice.
Yeah,
not nice.
No, definitely. Yeah, no, definitely. Anyways, we sort of start wrapping up now, mate. So thanks to all you guys. Melvin, as usual, pleasure to everyone. Some great stories again from your history of lots of different stories. Where can people find you on social media? Just to give everyone a heads up.
As just on Twitter, it's Melvin. The only way is Arsenal. Mark, no, thanks again. I really do enjoy things like this. It's fantastic. And also, Luke, lovely to meet you. I mean that. Really, really nice to meet you.
Yes,
really nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Andrew as well, obviously back again, once again on the show. Pleasure as always to have you on. Where can people find you as well?
Have a look on YouTube for From Dial Square to Where. If you like this channel, then I'm sure you probably like mine. It's very similar with nice just positive vibes as much as possible. Very little negativity. So yeah, go and have a look at From Dial Square to Where on YouTube, and on Twitter it's at From Dial Square. And thanks again, and again very much enjoyed meeting you, Luke. Been great.
Andrew, nice one, thank you.
Just want to say, actually, on Andrew's show, he had a great interview with Graham Ricks, former Arsenal player, the other night. I know the sound was a bit of an issue, but it was a great show, actually. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and watch that because that was a fantastic, actually. I think he's coming back, isn't he, again, Andrew, isn't it, to do another show?
Is, yeah.
I mean, that would be brilliant. What a great guy he was. Yeah,
terrific.
Absolute legend he was. And obviously, Luke as well, thanks for coming on. Absolutely pleasure, mate. I really enjoyed it. Great. Where can people find you on social media? Yes, assuming you want them to find you.
Yeah, well, Twitter at YamYamLuke86. Podcast that I do at Wolves Fancast. So cheers for having me on. It's been good. It's been a good chat, to be fair.
It's always nice to get perspectives of people from other clubs as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're in our own little bubble at our own club and stuff
definitely.
like that. It's nice sometimes to get out of that and speak to other guys, and it's been great. I just hope that we can end our run because I've had a Leicester fan on, they beat us 1-0. I've had a Villa fan on, they beat us 3-0, and I've had a Leeds fan on, and we drew 0-0. So I'm hoping now I've got a Wolves fan and we might win a game, but I don't know. I'm not.
What did I say at the beginning of the show? If you're on a jinx or a bad run, play Wolves. So I'm telling you.
I hope you're right.
Honestly,
we're the same though. We're the same. I'll tell you what, we're the only team that give Christian Benteke a goal every season. God, you can't get much worse than that, mate.
He does like a goal.
I'm pretty certain we've given Shane Long a goal at some point in the Premier League. And he used to play for Albion as well, which makes it even worse.
He's probably scored against us, actually. I'm sure he has.
Yeah,
he had a streak against us. He was our bogey player for a while.
Oh, yeah, I think he probably did. But most people seem to score against us, don't they? So there you go. Jimenez always scores as well, so he's back to score, isn't he? So I'm going 1-1. Jimenez and Aubameyang like last year. That'd be good. We'll go for that. So brilliant. I say thanks a lot to everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone in the comments as well. Russ, Hussein, the Everything Arsenal podcast as well. Some good stuff there. Everyone else who's been watching. Christopher was right at the beginning. Gary as well, old school friend of mine who popped in earlier. So it's good that he's watching as well. Yes, thanks to everyone else for watching as well. And I've got a lot of good stuff coming up on the channel. I'm going to do a watch along of the game on Sunday. Actually, I did one last week on my own. I kind of enjoyed it, so I might do that again on Sunday. And I'll be doing a preview of the game tomorrow as well. I'll do a little video together. I'll put out on the channel. That's coming out. I've already done it, but it's going to come out tomorrow morning as well. So stay tuned to the channel. Lots of good stuff coming. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And in the meantime, of course, looking forward to what hopefully will be a good game on Sunday. Thanks again to you guys, Melvin, Andrew, and of course Luke. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And look forward to maybe getting you back on again when we play you later in the season or in the cup or something like that. So it's been great. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks to you guys as well. And in the meantime, of course, as always, come on, you Gunners! Come on, you Gunners!